So, Father Luke, you mentioned in there that it's the whole season of Lent. So, can you tell us a little bit about what Lent is?
Absolutely. So, Lent, the English word, comes from the Old English Lengten, meaning springtime. But if we look in the Romance languages, sort of Spanish, French, Italian, we'll see that what they call Lent is closer to the Latin, quadragesima, which means 40th. And we sort of say, well, why that's significant. Lent is a period of preparation that leads up to Easter. Well, why 40? If we look in the scriptures, we find the same numbers sort of crop up again and again and again as sort of a scriptural shorthand for what we should be reading into them. For example, the number 12, it denotes the tribes of Israel, the number of apostles, and in that it says something about God's power, about his authority, about his providence. Likewise, we'll see the number 7, and we'll think, well, this denotes something to do with wholeness, completion, and the Sabbath rest, from those 6 days of creation united to the Sabbath. Well, what of 40? This is one of those very significant numbers that we see crop up again and again and again. So, just to give a few examples, the Israelites spent 40 years in the desert on their journey from slavery in Egypt to the Promised Land. And they spend 40 years not because they take some great circuitous route, but because they need time to prepare themselves for the land that they're going into. Getting the Israelites out of Egypt is only half the problem. It's going to be getting Egypt out of the Israelites that's going to be a big issue. So that 40 years is about preparation, but it's also about penance. We'll see that Moses on Mount Sinai spends 40 days in preparation to receive the 10 Commandments. We'll see Elijah on Mount Horeb spends 40 days in preparation before receiving this great vision of God and the still small voice of calm. And our blessed Lord, at the beginning of his public ministry, takes 40 days in the desert, during which he's tempted by the devil. So the church takes up this idea of 40, of preparation, of penance, and sets it before the great feast and the great season of Easter, so that we might approach that in such a way that when it arrives, we're really ready for it. In the longer sense of the church's tradition, there was even a season that preceded Lent to enable us to prepare well for that. So we're in that season now. We follow the old calendar, Septuagesima, 70 days out. And we'll see across those days, elements of the liturgy begin to fall out. We'll see that there's no Gloria, there's no Alleluia, there's no flowers decorating the altar. Our focus is drawn tighter and tighter, first to our need for it, because we'll be looking specifically at our sinfulness and our need to convert. But then, even deeper and through that, we'll be looking at the Lord's passion itself. So the further we get through Lent, the further we move through the mystery of our own sinfulness, but then also the mystery of our redemption from sin in Christ. And we'll accomplish that over these 40 days.
Great, thank you.